Back in June, we released 5 guiding principles of digital measurement, which sound relatively straightforward, but they do lead to specific implications and big change in measurement in this industry. The first is the view that we need to move from a served impression standard today for base exposure measurement to a viewable exposure measurement. Now, what that essentially highlights is a real disconnect between served impressions. When the servers shoot out ads to a website, there's a big difference between the ads that are served and the ads that are actually viewed. And that could be because of the website's design, it could be because of the type of browser or the type of computer screen being used, or it could be because of fraud. For brand advertisers, they care extremely much about the ad exposure, the quality of the exposure, the duration of the exposure. In direct response, that's not as much of a focus. It's not as much of a concern. It'll throw off your click-through rates, but the payments don't get changed that much. But for brand advertisers, this is essential. Number 2 is we need to move to a currency that moves beyond the gross impression. Gross impression is a fairly, I would say, early stage metric for currency in media. If you look at TV and radio, they've moved to gross rating points, ability to calculate reach and frequency. We don't have that yet in online, and we need to move there. 3 is we need to be able to spotlight the ads that really are most effective for brand advertising. We need a classification system, a taxonomy that allows us to standardize, the same way Randy was talking about the rising stars. We need a classification system that defines the characteristics and the capabilities of brand-friendly advertising, which allows buyers, agencies, and publishers to sell and transact those units more quickly and effectively as standards and not as custom units. That's critical to speed the flow of buying and selling of brand advertising. Number 4 is that we need interactivity metrics that matter, the actual interaction on the ad. We have the click-through for direct response, not suitable for brand advertising. We need metrics around view-throughs that are more transparent and accountable than they are today. I think we talked a moment ago about social metrics. We need social metrics that allow us to see how much activity has occurred after the ad is actually viewed. And then lastly, number 5 is we need digital measurement that in everything it's doing is facilitating cross-platform measurement. The brand marketers are planning more and more of their campaigns on a cross-platform basis, and we need to speak a common language, allow them to see if they move 10% of their dollars from TV to digital, are they better off or not? So there are 5 principal areas of solutions that making measurement make sense is defining to enhance planning, assessment, and comparison, and we're going to focus on 2 of them in the panels coming up. Number 1 is defining impressions. As I hinted at, we're shifting from a served to a viewable impression standard. Exposure duration, in addition to that, just counting the number of viewed impressions, we're actually going to have a duration metric to allow advertisers to see and publishers to report how long the ads were viewed for. This is going to allow advertisers to better delineate between ad impressions that might be 1 second in duration or ones that might be 5, 10, 20 seconds in duration, which they value greatly and help to define premium environments for them. Number 2 is defining an online gross ratings point metric. And it's not just about the GRP metric, which is a first step toward comparability, but it's also being able to report reach and frequency metrics, which has never really been done before in line outside the planning stage of online, never been done in an accredited, standardized currency before. Now, there are additional steps in making measurement make sense we're not going to talk about today around classification system, ad interaction metrics, and enhancements in brand attitudinal studies. Those are described in other materials about making measurement make sense. But we're going to focus on the first 2 and how they enhance cross-platform measurement. 3MS is designed to bring digital more in sync, on the exposure side, to bring digital more in sync with other media. If you look at online today, we're using a gross impression metric that is in line with where a couple of other industries are today, which are probably not the ones we want to compare ourselves with. Outdoor, car counts, circulation for print. You know, those are both industries that have recognized shortcomings in their exposure measurement, and both of them with eyes on in outdoor and readership metrics being rolled out right now in magazines, they're moving toward GRPs and real viewability. Radio and TV are already there, but they've also been undergoing significant enhancements in how they measure viewable impressions. The portable people meter in radio being a great example. So we're getting more in sync, and we need to move so that for a brand marketer, we're able to talk GRPs, high quality viewed impressions, and comparability. So what do we mean when we say viewed impression? What's the metric going to look like? We're not sure exactly how it'll be finished because we're about to launch pilots and run tests to better define exactly what the implications of these metrics are. But two stakes in the ground. One is how much of the ad should be in view to be counted as a true impression, and how long should the ad be in view. And on the area breakpoint, we're suggesting a 50% of the ad being in view, a minimum of 50% of the ad being in view. It doesn't sound too aggressive, but as many of you know, if you've looked at this kind of data, a significant number of ads today wouldn't make that cutoff if we ran that today. And we believe that publishers will increasingly manage in putting ads more in view once we have this metric in place. So we expect that the viewed impressions will increase the quality of the ad units. The second element is to have a 1 second in view minimum. And brand advertisers would say, we need more than a 1 second. I want 5 or I want 10 seconds in view. But we're trying to reach a balance here. This is a big change for the industry. And we think a 1 second in view minimum is going to greatly increase the confidence in the metrics. And the other thing here is that we're trying to have a single viewability standard that can serve direct response advertisers as well as brand-focused advertisers. So we think that this metric can be applied as well for DR. And the way that the brand advertisers get what they need is they'll be able to see reporting on how long the ad is actually in view.